On this week's episode, Paris Games Week has come to a close, and we have a ton of gaming news to talk about. We dive headfirst into November's Backlog. Pro Overwatch League has debuted their team names, and finally, Gamestop looks to reanimate business by bringing BlockBuster back from the dead.
It's alive! It's alive! It's alive! It's alive!
All of this and much, much more on this week's episode of the Nerf Report.
Are you listening? Damn. Yeah. Yeah.
Welcome to the Nerf Report. My name is Bryant, Chappel. It is officially November. The year is almost over. I'm having an internal panic attack because last month literally felt like January, but none of that matters. Let's get straight into this week's news. As with the beginning of every month, subscribers to PlayStation Plus and Xbox Games with Gold get free games. But unfortunately, if you're like me, you don't have the time to play these games, so the free games just get added directly to your backlog. So, for the month of November, here are the games getting added to our backlog. Xbox One owners will receive Ubisoft's racing video game Trackmania Turbo, along with Telltale's Tales from the Borderlands. Xbox 360 owners will receive the Sega action-adventure game Nights into Dreams, and the treasure-hunting first-person adventure game Deadfall Adventure. PlayStation 4 owners will receive Team 17's turn-based combat game Worms Battlegrounds, along with Santa Monica Studios' artistic platformer Bound. PlayStation 3 owners will get the side-scrolling shoot-'em-up R-Type Dimension, along with the string puppet fighting simulator Ragdoll Kung Fu, Fist of Plastic. PlayStation Vita owners will get the arcade fighting RPG Dungeon Punks and the point-and-click Broken Sword 5. And finally, PlayStation VR owners will receive the survival horror first-person shooter Until Dawn Rush of Blood. Just a quick side note, I feel it's important that we need to award Ragdoll Kung Fu Fist of Plastic with the greatest gaming title of all time. Congratulations, you deserve it. The upcoming Han Solo film, Solo, a Star Wars story, created quite a bit of commotion this week, which seems fitting because this movie has been a train wreck publicity-wise for Disney. For those of you that have not been following the film, earlier this year, the film's directors, Phil Lord and Christopher Miller, were politely asked to leave 3 weeks away from wrapping principal photography. Fast forward a couple weeks later, and Ron Howard was announced as the new director for the Han Solo film? I don't know why I still struggle with that. Han Solo film. Well, on the latest episode of the Resistance Broadcast podcast, they quoted a source close to the film who gave us an update on Ron Howard's impact on the Han Solo film. According to the podcast, the reshoots ended up covering nearly all of Han Solo, and potentially for twice of the budget. We are hearing that Ron Howard reshot potentially 80% or more of the movie. Now, you can take that one of two ways. The first way being like 20% of the Star Wars fans saying, stop making this movie. We don't need a Han Solo origin film. Episodes 4, 5, and 6 were our origin films of Han Solo. Or you could look at it from the positive standpoint and say, hey, at least they're not piecing together Phil Lord and Christopher Miller's version with Ron Howard's to make this weird, really bad Star Wars film. If the rumors are true and Ron Howard has shot up to 80% of the film, that is good news for this production. That means that this movie has one voice, one vision, and one direction. Not the boy band, like one direction as in, one story. But on the subject of the budget now costing double than what was originally planned for, spend as much as you need. Please, Disney, from me to you, spend whatever it takes to make this a great movie. Do not ruin my childhood hero. Also this week we found out that CBS is in the process of remaking the Twilight Zone for its CBS All Access streaming service. On a conference call with investors, CEO of CBS Corporation, Leslie Mooms, had this to say. All Access will be the home of a new version of one of the most iconic television shows of all time, The Twilight Zone. The Twilight Zone originally aired for 5 seasons from 1959 to 1964. The series consisted of unrelated episodes that dealt with paranormal, disturbing, or unusual events. The series was created by Rod Serling, who personally wrote 80 episodes for the show. Variety.com added to the speculation by reporting a source close to the film is in talks with Jordan Peele's production company Monkey Paw to executive produce the film. Now, as a fan of The Twilight Zone, I've got to say, if the production studio behind the 2017 horror film Get Out is responsible for the remake of The Twilight Zone, I am all for this. Bring on the new Twilight Zone. PlayStation's Horizon Zero Dawn has its brand new expansion DLC coming out this month. The Frozen Wilds will feature a new skill tree, new abilities, new quests, new characters, new lands to explore, and 15 hours of additional content. The Frozen Wilds DLC will release on November 7th for the price tag of $20. Good news though, if you're a member of the PlayStation Plus subscription service, you get it for $15. Now, for candidly speaking, Horizon Zero Dawn is already my game of the year, so for $15 you get 15 additional hours of content. That seems like a no-brainer. In gigantic news for the Pokemon television series, after 20 years and 7 months, the Pokemon television series is about to air its 1,000th episode. On November 9th, the 1000th episode will air on TV Tokyo and is set to star one of the 151 original Pokemon. If I had to guess, it'd be like Zapdos, Moltres, Articuno, maybe Mewtwo, maybe even Mew, maybe Charizard, Blastoise, Venusaur, one of the cool ones. What? No? Who is it?
Hypno.
Hypno? Why the hell are they bringing Hypno in? All joking aside, I'd like to personally congratulate the Pokemon Company on 1,000 episodes. I can only hope that one day the Nerf Report will join you in the upper echelon of shows for the 1000 Club. Of course, by that time, a much hotter, more funnier host will probably have taken my place. Fun fact for the Pokemaniacs watching this, the original episode of Pokemon aired on April 1st in 1997, and now that I feel ancient, let's continue with this week's news. In a leaked screenshot from the upcoming Game Informer issue this month, we got our first look at a brand new service that looks to be coming to a Gamestop near you. Starting November 19th, the Power Pass will launch nationwide. The Power Pass is a service that allows gamers to pick any pre-owned game, swap it out for another pre-owned game as often as they want for 6 months. The Power Pass has the price tag of a one-time payment of $60, which equates to about $10 a month. So, for $10 a month, you get unlimited pre-owned rentals, and at the end of the 6-month period, you get to keep one of the pre-owned games. Pretty awesome deal, right? On the surface level, this service seems like a direct attempt from GameStop to bring more traffic to their storefronts. In recent years, GameStop has used things like Funko Pops, gaming collectibles, t-shirts, backpacks, different things to kind of evolve in an industry that's moving away from physical media. I personally am in the minority here. I like physical media. I like going to my local GameStop, picking up my games, and seeing what other merchandise they have. So I wish GameStop all the luck. I hope this works out for them. This week also marked the end of Paris Games Week, and boy did we get a ton of gaming news. Right off the bat, Sony held a press conference in which they gave us an update on 21 games that are currently in production. And as if that wasn't good enough, they gave us announcements for 7 brand new titles coming to the PlayStation 4. Sony gave us updates to Sims 4 releasing this November, brand new DLC featuring Chris Redfield for Resident Evil 7, Destiny 2's upcoming Curse of Osiris DLC, Monster Hunter Worlds will feature Horizon Zero Dawn's Aloy as a playable character. Spider-Man will release in 2018, Call of Duty World War II DLC will arrive first on PlayStation 4, and Detroit Becomes Human will arrive spring of 2018. And then they introduced 7 brand new games. Sony announced a sequel to Guacamelee, Guacamelee 2, for the PlayStation 4. In a game similar to Hotline Miami, we're getting the Hong Kong Massacre. We got a look at a puzzle game called The Guardians Between. Sony gave us footage of the sequel for the treasure hunting video game Spelunky, Spelunky 2. Sucker Punch gave us a look at their latest open world samurai masterpiece, The Ghost of Tsushima. Concrete Genie won the hearts and minds of gamers worldwide. PlayLink debuted Erica, which looks like a point-and-click choose-your-own-adventure game. The racing game Onrush is coming to the PlayStation 4 summer of 2018. And then for the cream of the crop, Sony debuted brand new footage for The Last of Us 2. Oh, that could be good. Hold on one sec. Jim, come in.
Yeah, I'm here.
Jim, what is that siren about?
It's the hype meter, sir. There's too much hype.
That's right. Naughty Dog gave us another glimpse at the extremely anticipated sequel to The Last of Us. The trailer did not include Ellie or Joel, but that didn't matter. The Last of Us, in my eyes, is the greatest game ever made, and I will be the first to admit that when the announcement for Last of Us 2 came out, I was apprehensive, because I was like, you're gonna ruin it. You're gonna ruin that game. But after seeing this trailer and seeing the dark, gritty, and disturbing direction they're taking the game, I can't wait. And in the final bit of gaming news from Paris Games Week, Microsoft and Xbox finally gave us an update on PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds. PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds will release on Xbox One in early access on December 12th for $30. And finally this week, I want to talk to you about the Overwatch Pro League. More specifically, their team names. The Overwatch League is a professional esports league that was announced during the 2016 BlizzCon. It features 12 teams who will participate in the inaugural season of matches starting January 2018. Well, it looks like the team names have been finalized, and some of them are really good. The Florida Mayhem, the Philadelphia Fusion, the Seoul Dynasty, the Shanghai Dragons, the Boston Uprising, the Los Angeles Gladiators, the Los Angeles Valiants, the New York Excelsior, the San Francisco Shock, the Houston Outlaws, the London Spitfire, and then we have the Dallas Fuel. That's right, the Dallas Cowboys, the Dallas Mavericks, and the Dallas Stars will now be joined by the Dallas Fuel. Now, there's people out there who are like, it's just a name, it's a sports team, it doesn't reflect on whether the team's going to be good. That doesn't matter. The New York Jets are a frickin' jet. A bear can't beat a jet, a dolphin can't beat a jet, and a patriot... Never mind. A patriot can definitely beat a jet. The Fuel. I mean, come on. I get that we have fracking and a lot of oil, but the Soul Dragons, that's an awesome name. And last I checked, dragons breathe fire, which sets fuel on fire. Well, before I got too upset, I wanted to do some research to figure out where the name actually came from, and I found an interview from August where Mike Ruffalo, the CEO of Team Envious, who owns the Dallas Fuel, had this to say. We are thrilled to bring a championship caliber franchise to the area with the Dallas Fuel. In choosing a name, we wanted to speak to our Texas roots, connect with the legacy of our partners Ken Hirsch and Hirsch Interactive Group, and provide a rallying cry for local fans as esports continues to grow. Fuel accomplishes that, and the Dallas Fuel is a team we're proud to permanently plant in Texas. For those of you that are unaware of who Ken Hirsch is, he is the former CEO of NGP Energy Capital Management. So it makes sense. We're the Dallas Fuel because we're backed by oil and gas money. But one of his managing directors had this to say. The logo and identity of the Dallas Fuel franchise recognizes the heritage and strength of the energy sector in Texas and the business history of Ken Hirsch. A powerful spark of energy is what the Hirsch Interactive Group and the Dallas Fuel intend to bring to the esport industry. We're excited to be the home team for Dallas, said the managing director, Randy Chappel. Wait, my last name Chappel. Am I related to this guy? Pull up a picture. Let's see. Huh. No, I've never seen him. But hey, now that I know there's a Chappelle behind the Fuel, I guess I gotta support them. Because hey, family sticks together, Randy, just like family would say, hey, the Nerf Report is the official news agency of the Dallas Fuel. Forget the Houston Outlaws. Chappelles stick together. Well, that is it for this week's episode of the Nerf Report. If you like what you saw, make sure to give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, but more importantly, share it with your friends. As always, my name is Bryant Chappell. You are you, and this has been the Nerf Report. Thanks for watching.